Hello everyone and welcome back. I am Mr. Kovold and today we're going to talk about Boyle's Law, but we're going to apply Boyle's Law to solve a problem. So again, Boyle's Law is the relationship between volume and pressure, and so we're going to use that to try to solve this problem. So here it says a woman has an initial lung volume of 2.75 liters, which is filled with air at a pressure of 1.02 atmospheres. If she increases her lung volume to 3.25 liters without inhaling any additional air, what is the pressure in her lungs? So right away, what you need to be doing is write down the information and think about what the initial conditions were and what the final conditions were. So what do you start with and what are you ending with? So what we're starting with, it says an initial lung volume of 2.75 liters. So that's going to be our V1. V1 is our initial volume. So V1 is going to be equal to 2.75 liters. So that's our V1. And it says, which is filled with air at a pressure of 1.02. So she breathes it in and she holds her breath. And so the air now in her lungs is at a pressure, whatever the atmospheric pressure at that time, which is 1.02 atmospheres. So that's going to be our P1. So P1 is 1.02 atmospheres. An atmosphere is a unit of pressure. So this is our V1, our P1. So what's the resulting or the ending condition? So here it says, if she increases her lung volume to 3.25. So we're changing the volume. So the volume, the final volume, or the V2, is going to be 3.25 liters. And then it asks, then it says without inhaling any additional air. That's important because if she inhales additional air, then she's taking in more particles, and that's going to, that's going to influence the results, because the more particles you have, then that's more force pushing up against the wall. So that's going to affect pressure as well. So we don't want that in there. So because this is, of course, Boyle's Law, and if we change anything else besides volume and pressure, then Boyle's Law does not work. So everything else needs to be kept the same. And then it asks, what is the pressure in her lungs? So we want P2. So what is P2? So in a problem like this, if all they're talking about is volume and pressure, and then they say things stay the same, like no, you're not changing the amount of air, notice that nothing is said about temperature. If nothing is said about temperature, you can assume that it is constant, right? So temperature is constant, the amount of air is constant, so we can apply Boyle's Law. So if you remember, Boyle's Law is P1 V1 equals P2 V2, and so you can just plug in your values, or you could just solve the equation for P2. So if I solve the equation for P2, then I divide both sides by V2, so that cancels out. So then I get P2 is equal to P1 V1 over V2. So now all I need to do is plug in these values, which I have here. So then this becomes equal to, so P1 is 1.02 atmospheres, and then V1 is 2.75, so 2.75 liters, and that's all divided by V2, which is 3.25 liters. Liters cancel out, leaves me with atmospheres, so that's a pressure unit. So now all I need to do is calculate the answer. So here I have 1.02 times 2.75 divided by 3.25 equals. And I get an answer. I'll just put it over here. The answer is 0.8630, 8630. And so now I have to make sure I have the proper significant figures. So I have 3 sig figs here, 3 here, 3 here. So I can only keep 3, so I gotta drop it there. So, and this is gonna be atmospheres. So the final answer is 0.863 atmospheres. And you can check your answer by thinking about the inverse relationship between pressure and volume. So you increase the volume, so the volume increased, right, 2.75 to 3.25, it increased. So if the volume increases, then you would expect the pressure to decrease. And so you went from 1.02 and it decreases to 0.863. So that's expected. So that's a good way to check to make sure at least your answer makes sense. If you had an increase in pressure, then something went wrong somewhere. So I hope this was helpful. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, and make a comment in the comment section, and also ring the notification bell so you can get notified for any new videos I put out. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.